So let's move on now to the big hockey matchup Thursday. The Robins hosting Stevens Point in a battle for early first-place rights in the conference. The Robins going with junior goaltender Matt Incha, who came up big against the Panthers last year. Antigo, good defensive team all around, as Paul Taylor with a nice defensive play, stopping Mike Turch. And then it's Incha with the save. A very physical game, as you can see, as several times the player's right in our camera lens, basically. First break of the game comes when the Panthers whistled for the penalty, and so Antigo will go on the power play. The Robins take advantage as Adam Nicholson to Caleb McPhail to Bill Burt out in front, and Burt gets the goal at the 4:19 mark of the first period. Antigo led it 1-0. But only seconds after that goal, the Robins whistle for a penalty, and so now they'll have to kill the penalty. And that they will do, thanks to Incha getting the glove save right there. True to his form against the Panthers, Incha was coming up big all first period long. Antigo would have just 4 shots on goal, but they made the 1 count. In the meantime, Incha with 10 saves in the first period. And Antigo led after 1 by a score of 1-0. Pretty good start for the Robins. But to start the second period, a much different story. Nick Molsky up ahead, and he gets Incha out a goal. Aaron Kostichka hitting it back eventually to Darren Rogstad, who gets the goal just 46 seconds into the period. Stevens Point had tied it at 1. Just over a minute later, it's another goal as Jeff Gonski gets the score. Credit the assist to Justin Danielski and Billy Hill, 155, and the Panthers, wow, how they had come out, now leading it 2-1.
Obviously in the second period, we weren't ready to play right away. Our goaltender gave up a bad goal out of the net when he shouldn't have been. Their second one was just a good goal. Our back checker missed his assignment, and he was wide open over there. Very good goal, hard to stop. You know, we showed a lot of character just coming from behind like that, and against a very good team.
Indeed, the Robins come right back, putting pressure on Pete Leneker, just missing, getting the centering pass, instead ends up in the goal. Then it's McPhail with a heavy slap shot that Ryan Scott is able to deflect. But moments later, the Robins break through as Nick Novi's shot is deflected by Nicholson, and Antigo had come back to tie the game 2-2 at the 3:51 mark. And moments later, the Robins on the power play, and it's Nicholson from McPhail. The combination seemed to work quite a bit. And at 5:27 of the period, the Robins had come back to take a 3-2 lead. For the rest of the period, the Antigo defense, the story, Incha with 9 more saves. Before the period closes, it's Joe Schilcher with the unassisted goal, making it 4-2 Antigo. And what a momentum swing from the start of the period to the end of it.
Again, I just got to hand it to our players. We've got some great leadership on the team. As in the past, it's a bit kind of a tradition thing that's carried on, and we remind those guys of them, and they get constant reminder of it every day when they look in the rafters and see the banners. They understand that, we've been in these games before, and, anything's possible. You never can give up. You just got to keep going. And, again, fortunately, the pucks have gone in for us, and hopefully they'll continue to do so.
Third period defense, the story. George Barrett with a nice check. Then Kostichka moving in, but Nick Novi able to knock him off the puck. And when Turch tries to move in, it's Josh Zaleski and McPhail stopping him. When Molsky tries to skate in and score, he's stopped by Incha, who had 9 more saves in the period. Closing in on 4 minutes left in the game. Under 1 minute now, the Panthers pulling their goalie, so the 6-on-5 advantage, but it's Incha coming up big again, as he would finish with 28 saves on the night. The Panthers frustrated time and time again. In the end, the frustrations merely continue for Stevens Point as Antigo defeats them for the 6th straight time by the final score of 4-2.
Yeah, it's been kind of uncanny. I'm happy that it's happening the way it's happening. I don't want anything to change, but you still got to have your players go out there and play hard and do what they have to do to win the game. It just happened that we've come out on the better side of the score. It's not like we totally outplay them or vice versa, but they could have won that game tonight too. They worked hard. They had their chances. Ours went in, theirs didn't.
Unfortunately for the Hodags and Miller, the streak came to an end An 11-0 loss to Stevens Point Wednesday, a 3-0 loss to Rapids Thursday, and then Saturday the Hodags hosting the Antigo Red Robins. Adam Nicholson, Caleb McPhail, and Bill Burt, a scoring trio that is powerful this year. And the Robins will jump in front, but not with that top line. Instead, it's Peter Ledeker's shot deflected in by Kurt Peterson, and Antigo held the early 1-0 lead. But Rhinelander immediately responds. Eric Voss's shot just slipped past the legs of Peter Kazarek, the Antigo goalie, and the Hodags at 3:44 of the first had come back to tie it at 1. It's a tie that won't last long, though, as it's Nicholson from McPhail. Antigo's second goal of the game makes it 2-1 Robins at 7:56 of the first. Antigo would outshoot the Hodags 17-7 in the period. This time off the miss from Ledeker. It's Jason Gunther with the rebound goal. The Robins led 3-1 after the first period. So we move to the second. The Hodags continue to be resilient. Chris Matson skating in, but Jason Skolaski trailing backhands it right past Kazarek. The Hodags were back to within 1 again. That goal at the 3:29 mark of the second cut it to a 3-2 Robins lead. But the Hodags get no closer. It's Bill Burt just skating in, and it trickles past Miller over the line, and it goes as goal number 4 for the Robins, assist to McPhail, 4-2 Antigo. Miller would be pounded on all game long by the Robins, who were very aggressive on this night. 35 saves in all for Miller. But in the third period, the Robins will break it open, and it's McPhail putting on the pressure and gets it over to Nicholson for the goal. That makes it 5-2 Antigo. The rest of the period, it's the Bill Burt show, going up top to score there. Then later in the period, watch how tenacious these guys are. As McPhail misses, Nicholson can't get the rebound to go in, but somehow Burt does get to go in. And for Bill, that is his second straight goal, and that makes it 7-2 Robins. Antigo's final goal comes, and it's Burt scoring his third straight, the natural hat trick. And Antigo just shelling the Hodags as Nicholson, Burt, and McPhail, I think, come on for about 40 points. Tough game for Dane Miller. And the Hodags will have to regroup with a regional game coming up Thursday when they host the Lakeland Thunderbirds. And Merrill will be the site for this sectional semifinal between the T-Birds and the Red Robins. And it's Randy Galoni, the sophomore goalie, coming off a masterful performance against the Hodags last week that you saw here on the show. Galoni would have a much stiffer test on this night against the powerful Red Robins. Antigo won't waste too much time before scoring. Adam Nicholson shooting once, missing, shooting again. That time getting it in. 2:04 mark of the first. The Red Robins lead 1-0. Assist to Caleb McPhail. The Robins keep the pressure on Bill Burt. Some great stick work, but Galoni able to poke it away before Burt can shoot on him. Problem with the Red Robins, they just keep coming at you. The most hustling team probably in the state. But Galoni doing a pretty good job in the first period. Eventually, though, Antigo's going to get you. It happens here. Nicholson's shot deflecting to Burt, who puts it in. And the Red Robins led after the first period by a score of 2-0. We move on to the second. Lakeland needing a goal, but Incha was tough on this night. And so was the Robins offense, as it will be Nicholson shooting in, and then somehow McPhail just slides it right past Galoni, making it 3-0. And for Antigo, that looks like a pretty commanding lead. And the T-Birds have been down this road before, facing Antigo in the sectional semifinals, only to come up short. The Robins will add another goal to lead 4-0 from there. Incha gets it done the rest of the way, shutting out the T-Birds. And Antigo once again seems almost perennial, advancing to the sectional finals with a 4-0 victory over Lakeland.
Yeah, this is where we wanted to be, and you know, we got the job done tonight. It wasn't pretty, but we played a feisty Lakeland team who really came at us hard, and they had some really good goaltending. They put up a heck of a fight. I give them a lot of credit.
So it all comes down to Saturday in Antigo. Seems like we're here every year for the sectional finals. The Red Robins hosting the Wausau West Warriors. But it's been 4 years since the Red Robins have been back to defend that state championship they won in '93. The Red Robins playing this game without their #1 goalie, Matt Incha, who had the flu. Peter Kazarek will fill in. A lot of pressure on the sophomore. That's what B.J. Brandt's thinking as he comes firing in and scores. And Wausau West, after the first period, led this game 1-0. In the second period, Wausau West will score once again. Mason Mayer skating around and then shoots on Kazarek. The rebound coming right to Brad Keene. Keene puts it in, and Wausau West led it 2-0. Meanwhile, Wausau West goalie Steve Penn having a great game, 23 saves through the first 2 periods. With under a minute left in the second period, Antigo finally scores, and it's George Burnt with the goal. Adam Nicholson and Josh Zaleski with the assist. So after 2 periods, the lead cut in half now. Wausau West led Antigo 2-1. On to the third. The stakes are high, so is the drama. Peter Leneker's shot is stopped by Penn. Continues to play a strong game for the Warriors. But Antigo keeping the pressure on. Burnt's slap shot tapped out front. Caleb McPhail is there, and he pokes it back in to tie the game at 2. But Wausau West comes right back on the power play. Dan Augustine shooting in. Eventually, somehow, it's poked in by Mike Ahrens. And Wausau West had come back to take the 3-2 lead. So about 3 minutes left. Antigo putting pressure on. Zaleski shot, though, stabbed by Penn, who had 31 saves. Now just over 2 minutes left. Paul Taylor skating in. Can't get the puck, but it's loose, and Peter Leneker scores to tie the game. The rest of the way, it's fast and furious. Neither team able to score. So this game will head to overtime, tied at 3. Leneker in overtime, bidding for the win, but it's kick saved away by Penn. With just over a minute left, the Robins, who've been led by their seniors all year, get the biggest leadership play of the year from Bill Burt. The Antigo Red Robins are heading to state again with a dramatic come-from-behind 4-3 victory over a valiant Stevens Point team.
I don't know, it's kind of a same story as last year, but it wasn't the sectional playoffs. I was really tired and I had to go after the puck, and I skated as hard as I could to the net, and I got lucky on a shot.
Tell me how sweet it feels to win an overtime game to go to state.
It feels so much better. We worked so hard all year long, and we came from behind in this game, and it just feels great to win this game.
It's sweet. It's sweet just to go to state no matter how we get there, but to do it in overtime, all these fans here, place just packed, it was great.
And so it's on to Madison, the Great Dane County Coliseum Thursday. The Antigo Red Robins to take on Brookfield at 11 a.m., first game of the tournament. Stevens Point, which knocked off Mosinee yesterday, will face Madison Memorial. The winner of those 2 games will then play on Friday, so we could have an Antigo-Spash rematch, the rubber match that game would be, and what a game that would be if, in fact, it happens. Of course, when Antigo last went to state, we all know what happened. The Red Robins brought home the gold trophy. So good luck to Antigo and Stevens Point as well down in Madison next week. We've got one more commercial break to take, and then we're going to come back with the story of the girls basketball regionals right after this.
Sports Weekly. Sports Weekly. Brought to you each week by Shimkus Auto Body, Rhinelander Paper Company, Amelia Chic in McEldowney, Peterson Healthcare, the Rhinelander Press Express, Nicolay College. And now your Sports Weekly host, Al Cornamont.
Hello, welcome to Sports Weekly. Thanks again for joining us. I think it's safe to say we do have a great show tonight because we have a lot of action for you. Many exciting basketball games that we went to this week, both on the girls and boys side, so we'll have that for you later in the show. But we want to get started with the story of the state hockey tournament. As you saw in Sports Weekly last Sunday night, both Antigo and Stevens Point from the area qualified for this year's state tournament down in Madison. Now, the story with Antigo, if you go back to 1993, you remember the Robins went down and won the state tournament that year. That was the only time the Red Robins had ever made it to the state hockey tournament before this season. So could Antigo do the same thing and muster up some of those dramatic, exciting overtime wins that they had back in 1993? Well, you bet they would do that. So let's take you to Madison. Bill Castrovince, the photographer, what a great job he did capturing the exciting moments from this year's state hockey tournament. Well, it does feel like we've been here before, and Antigo perfect at the state tournament, 3-0 coming into this one. So no surprise, the Robins look to be at home. Just 9 seconds in, Adam Nicholson gets the rebound goal. And the assist going to Caleb McPhail, and Antigo led it 1-0 at the 9-second mark of the first period.
We've been known, we got a record this year, I think, for conference for quickest goal, but hopefully maybe that will be one down here. Yeah, that started our team off, got us pumped up a little bit to get 9-second goal.
It's a great emotional boost, but again, you can't get too carried away when you're playing a game in a state tournament. You know that your opponent's obviously got to be good, and when they've scored as many goals as they have, we knew one goal probably wasn't going to do it. So we had the attitude, we had to keep the intensity, and kind of forget about that goal actually, and just try to play the game we had initially planned to play.
Indeed, the Robins' goal was to just keep Brookfield from even getting into the Antigo zone, and the Robins were very successful at that. The play of sophomore defenseman Paul Taylor continuing to shine as the Red Robins held on to the 1-0 lead. And nearly 10 minutes after the Robins had scored their first goal, they'll get their second. It turns around this time as Nicholson feeds McPhail, and the same result, an Antigo goal to lead it 2-0. The Robins would not let Brookfield get anything going. Taylor couldn't get the pass, but he's not going to let Brookfield get a shot either. So after one period, Antigo in great shape, leading it 2-0.
Well, we were all pretty nervous. None of us knew what to expect. It's our first time for the whole team down here, so yeah, we were all pretty nervous, but hopefully we got all the jitters worked out and we're ready to go tomorrow.
Indeed, the Robins seemed to grow in confidence as the game went on, and at the minute 2 mark of the second period, that was Kurt Peterson feeding Peter Leneker, and the Robins now led 3-0, seemingly in great control of the hockey game. This video here gives you an idea of just how tough it was for Brookfield to ever get into the Antigo zone in the second period. It seemed like they never could. But if they did, it was Matt Incha coming up big, turning away Dan Stearman there. Incha had 5 saves through 2 periods, an uncommonly low figure for him. The Icemen think they might get a goal here when Lee Janke breaks in and slaps one past Incha, but while they celebrate, the officials determined that it did nothing more than hit the post. No goal for Brookfield. So after 2 periods, the Robins in commanding lead, 3-0. To the third period, more defense. George Barrett knocking it away. And it's Incha with one of his only 10 saves. That tells you right there, Brookfield didn't have much offense. Then it's Andrew Barrett and Nick Novi combining for the sandwich. Brookfield simply frustrated in this one.
I think we just do what we've been doing all season, and that's try to keep people to the outside and concentrate on playing the body. And when you play against quality forwards, you get lost with the puck. You're gonna make yourself look stupid. So again, in the bigger rink, again, just try to keep people to the outside, out of the danger zones. Make sure you have back checkers picking up late people, and you just got to make sure you do those little things.
The Robins would add one more goal from Dave Duncan and win it by a final of 4-0 to advance to the semifinals to play either Stevens Point or Madison Memorial. Pretty clear who the Robins would want to play, though.
It'd be nice to play Smash, beat them in front of a big crowd. I'd really like that, but whoever we play, we're going to come after them.
So the question now, would the Panthers hold up their end of the deal, so to speak? And Stevens Point taking on Madison Memorial. No score through the first several minutes of the game, and then Nick Molsky, the loose puck, and then great skating, the backhanded goal. And for Molsky, it comes at the 4:21 mark of the first period. Chad Zick and Aaron Kostichka with the assist, 1-0 Panthers. It takes Point less than a minute to get goal number 2. Mike Moon's shot, dribbling past Brian Smith, and there's Molsky again for his second goal. This comes at the 5:18 mark, assist to Moon on the play, and Stevens Point now up 2-0. It was an impressive opening period for the Panthers. Jamie Weinbauer with the shot, assist to Garrett Rogstad and Bill Hill. And that comes at 12:57 of the period, and now 3-0 Stevens Point. It was almost a perfect period for the Panthers. Ryan Scott doing a good job in goal, but with 11 seconds, you'll see the shot come right there. And the shooter was out of screen, but it was Dan Burkhart who gets Madison Memorial on the board. So 3-1, Stevens Point all in all in good shape after the first period. On to period number 2, and the Spartans try putting the pressure on, but Ryan Scott was big, 16 saves in the game for him. Meanwhile, the Panther offense continues to pressure, and it's Kostichka going high for the goal. Number 4 in the game for the Panthers. Assist on that one to Malski and Zick. 4-1, Stevens Point. Panthers certainly scoring in bunches. In the background, you can hear the announcer announcing the last goal when Justin Danielski gets an unassisted shot to go in. And, well, you don't need pushes like that. Certainly, it was 5-1 Panthers. All the way around, an impressive effort for Stevens Point. They go on to win it 8-1 to advance to the semifinals to play, yes, Antigo. So we go to Friday night as these two rivals square off for a chance to go to the big game. Truly, you couldn't have a better matchup. The Panthers, the Valley Conference champions. Antigo, the only team in the conference to beat them this year. Matt Incha would have a huge game for Antigo. And they would need it. So would the Robins' defense need to play well. George Barrett taking out Weinbauer. Panthers keeping the pressure on. And it's Kostichka blasting one, but Incha making the glove save. Still no score. Incha, by the way, with 9 saves in the first period. Antigo didn't have a lot of offensive opportunities, but Bill Burke takes advantage of the one they get as the Panthers made the mistake, and Antigo makes them pay. That would give the Robins a 1-0 lead after the first period.
Just getting kind of shaky, but there was a scramble in front of the net, and the puck just went off a point stick right into my stick, and I got off a quick shot on net.
Now, if you remember the game that the Panthers lost to Antigo earlier in the year, Spash really had a huge second period. They come out aggressively again in this second period. That means Matt Incha would have to play a large period for Antigo. That he would do, slapping away the Kostichka backhander. The Great Dane gives you a tremendous vantage point to watch the goalies in action, and Incha, a lot of excitement. Probably more than a goalie likes to see. Weinbauer with the shot, and Matt coming up big again. And I mean this only as a form of a highest compliment, but Incha was playing a Brandon Clements sort of game as Kostichka stopped one more time. The Robin defense helping out as well. For 15 minutes, Stevens Point came at Incha with every single artillery form that they had, but Incha would not budge. 19 saves in the period for the junior. And Stevens Point certainly had to be getting frustrated at that point. Watching a hot goaltender in action is one of the most exciting things you can see in sports. And look at Incha here. I mean, literally just getting his glove in people's sticks. The period really definitive of Antigo hockey, a team that uses really only 2 lines through a whole game against a school with twice as much enrollment, and a hot goaltender that took everything that the Panthers could muster.
Before each period, I try to sit by myself for a while and concentrate on the puck and things to come, try to anticipate what will happen in that period, and I think I concentrated pretty well for this game.
Yeah, he did a great job, stood on his head, and you know, he has the ability to do that. He hasn't got tested a lot this year in most of our games. We've kept the shots down, but he's been there when we've needed him most of the time. And if you go back to last year, too, he won us a conference championship almost single-handedly. So he's got the potential to be a great goaltender, and he showed you that today.
Indeed he did, but in the second period, the Panthers tied it on a Chad Zick goal and then untie it when it's Garrett Rogstad who just poked that one in on a diving attempt. What a great shot from him. And just like that, now the Panthers had come back to take the 2-1 lead. This time it was Stevens Point's goaltender getting the job done as Ryan Scott would turn away the Robins on a couple of opportunities there. Panthers come back and they put the pressure on again. Zick and David Lee looking to hook up, but Incha comes up again. And now the time factor starting to weigh in. Robins needing to get some offense going, but Jason Platts doing a good job to thwart that. Platts will figure in moments later when Kurt Peterson comes skating in. You see no goal there, but Platts will be whistled for a penalty. So the Red Robins get a power play and a chance to tie it. And giving Antigo a chance like that down at State is as good as giving it to him. Adam Nicholson's shot no good, but Bill Burt is there to put in the rebound. And the Robins had come back to tie it in dramatic fashion.
Our coach, Todd Langseth, was telling us about how when they won the state, it was same situation, down one, a couple minutes left, and I was just hoping to get a rebound off my defensive George Barrett shot, and I just got lucky on a shot.
Right then, you know, your heart just skipped a beat, and you're like, yeah, we can do it, you know. Whether we do it now or in overtime, we can do it.
To be honest with you, they're a little bit deeper than we are. They're a little bit quicker than we are, but, you know, you can still win games if you find a way. Obviously, you need to get good goaltending like we did today, and you need to get a few bounces, but we had enough chances, and we were able to bury the chances we did. And, you know, their team fought hard, and they had a great second period where they could have tied us and maybe pulled ahead. But we fell behind. You got to credit our guys. They never quit.
The Robins will display that one final time in regulation. Nick Novi whistled for the penalty, so for a minute and a half, Point will have the power play. Panthers will bring it, but it's Incha. 39 saves in the game, refusing to break. While the Panthers would try, the Robins won't let them score. And so this contest will head to overtime, tied at 2.
I was just hoping that we could put it in for them, because with sudden death, you know, one mistake means the whole game. So I was hoping that we weren't the ones that made that mistake.
Indeed, the mistake comes from the Panthers when Kostichka just slams Incha out of goal. No reason to do that. And it'll be a power play opportunity for the Robins. But you can give Stevens Point a lot of credit. Their defense fights it off and successfully kill the penalty. So both teams with power play opportunities in the final moments do not take advantage. 3 minutes, 13 seconds into overtime. Adam Nicholson with the steal, the patience, the shot, the goal. Antigo's in the championship. Stevens Point is done.
I was a little shaky right there. I don't know. It just happened so quick. I didn't really get it. I don't know. It just happened so quick. It felt awesome.
You know, we've been doing everything right, drinking all the power drinks, everything, just to keep in shape. I mean, I knew we'd have gas to come back and win it.
Oh, it was a sweet win for us, and especially it was against Point. Since they beat us early in the year, we beat them once, but they beat us to win the conference, and it was just a great win. We're hoping for this matchup all year long.
Stevens Point, of all teams, to go to the state tournament overtime. Just doesn't get any better hockey than that.
We're starting to show some character that really didn't show up earlier in the year. I mean, we've always had a great time, just a great bunch of guys. And, you know, we lost an overtime game earlier in the season, actually 2 of them, and we've got a tradition of being very good in overtime. And we turned it around with the win at against Wausau West to get here. And our assistant coach, he perked in there in the overtime, and he reminded him of that fact that we're very good in the overtime, and you know, we never quit fighting, and we got a bounce or two, and we won the game.
Which brings us to Saturday. Could Antigo muster up one more in the state championship against Sun Prairie, a team 17-2, a team which had defeated the Robins earlier in the year by a score of 3-2. Sun Prairie ranked number 2 in the state coming into the tournament, but I'll tell you, once you get the kids on the ice, those rankings mean nothing, as Antigo had shown throughout. And their number 2 ranking does little for Sun Prairie here, as Caleb McPhail gets the goal to put Antigo on top, 1-0. Offensively, Sun Prairie would find out what pretty much everyone else had found out in the tournament so far. It's hard to move the puck against the Red Robins, and Antigo with Nicholson skating in, finding McPhail again, and that for McPhail, goal number 2. And the Robins led 2-0 incredibly after the first period. To the second period, and the Robins have a stranglehold on that 2-0 lead. Incha coming up big several times in the period. Sun Prairie keeps it coming, though. Tell you, give this team a lot of credit for not giving up, but Incha refusing to give in. Matt's performance throughout the tournament, obviously outstanding, and a glove save there to take away another potential goal. The Robins had not made many mistakes in the tournament, but you can see there an Antigo penalty putting Sun Prairie on the power play, and eventually the puck will come to Luke Stoffaker off the rebound, and finally Sun Prairie able to penetrate Matt Incha. The goal comes at 13:08 of the second period, so Antigo's lead cut in half as we head to the third period. Could the Robins hang on for 15 more minutes? Two lines skating 3 periods, 3 straight days. Would they have enough? Since their early 2 goals in the first period, the Robins were being shut down by Sun Prairie's good defense. Larry Clemens in goal for the Cardinals, and he would have a memorable game himself. And now time was becoming the enemy of both teams. For Antigo, would there be too much? For the Cardinals, would there be too little? Late in the third period, Antigo whistled for another penalty. This on Paul Taylor, giving Sun Prairie the power play opportunity. With time really getting short, you figure this is the last chance for Sun Prairie. But Antigo's defense doing the job. Bill Burke sending it down ice. Now with 1 minute left to go in this hockey game, the Red Robins seem in great position to bring home their second state championship. Matt Incha with 30 saves in the game. Now under 30 seconds left, and Sun Prairie desperate for a goal, but Incha won't let it go in again. And with 13 seconds left, the net is empty. The script is written, the ink is dried. Antigo, the team that always is the underdog down in Madison. Would it be Cinderella Part 2? No, it would not, as Alexander Plummer ties the game with 5 seconds left. And instead of a Red Robin state championship, instead we have overtime.
You know, they're a good team. They have quality players, and you know, it was just one of those things. We didn't win the draw there at the end, and you know, the guy ended up behind net with the puck, and how he got that puck through out to the slot, I'll never know. There was a maze of skates, and you know, it was just one of those things that happened. And
it felt like I got shot in the heart, you know, just 5 seconds left. You have the state championship right at the tip of your tongue, and you take it away. What can you do?
I saw it come out to the guy and then disappeared for a second and showed up right on the tape of his stick. I guess it was just meant to happen that way.
So we go to overtime, and Antigo's supposed to win here. They always win in overtime, right? Well, Sun Prairie had other ideas. 2:25 into overtime. Nick Hanrahan finds Tommy Eldridge, and Sun Prairie wins the state championship in dramatic fashion. Antigo's dream season was perfect until the end.
they have nothing to be ashamed about. You know, it's going to hurt. It's a tough loss. You're that close, and it gets away, and you know it's going to hurt. That's the way life is. And but I told them when they get back on that ice, no one's chin better be down, because they've accomplished a lot and they did a lot of things no one expected them to do. They beat a lot of odds this year, and they left their mark.
Nothing any of us could have done. You know, it's just things happen the way they happen. But I'm proud of everybody on our team and proud of what we accomplished.
We weren't really picked to come down here and do what we did, and we had a great season. We finished second in the conference, didn't get what we wanted to get done there, but we got a little payback on those guys last night and took them out of the tournament, and we just, you know, everyone worked hard, and you know, you can't not be proud of what we've done this year. We all worked our tails off all year.
It's been an up and down season, you know, but the bottom line with these guys is they never quit. Exactly what happened. I mean, we lost a real tough game. We lost a game at Stevens Point to lose the conference, basically, and they could have kind of packed it in there a little bit and put us out of the running, but they came back and they rattled off I don't know how many straight wins to get here, and most of the time putting the teams in the running time, and they had a great run here, and you know, it just shows the character of those guys that never give up, and you know, it just wasn't meant to be today, but you know, I love those guys, and we're going to do everything we can for them. These guys, no one gave them a chance, and you know, they put themselves in a championship game, and they almost won. I'm proud of every one of those guys, and you know, it's just one of those things. What are you going to do?
Tell you anything I say or anybody else would say to the Antigo team certainly would be less than fulfilling, because only a team that went through that can really know how painful it is to come so close and then lose a game like that. But the Robins deserve so much credit for what they accomplished. I mean, most of the time, as we said, they're skating with two lines and undermanned against a lot of the more powerful teams, and yet you just can't measure that team's heart year in and year out. And not only Antigo in hockey, but it seems like all their sports, they just seem to have something a little extra sometimes that puts them over the top. This was a great experience for the Antigo hockey players, and I'm sure that they're going to learn a lot more, even in losing, than they might have learned about themselves in defeat. We just want to congratulate both of them and Stevens Point for making it. What a memorable year this year for state hockey, and it was because of teams like Antigo and Stevens Point, so best wishes to the Robins in the future. We're going to take a break and come back with a story of the girls basketball sectionals, and it's exciting. We'll have it for you right after this.